But to start off, if you're new here or you've been here for a long time, I want to welcome you to Global Virtual Tuesdays Together. If you do not know what Rising Tide is, we are a community of small business owners, independent freelancers, service providers, creative entrepreneurs who unite in the spirit of community over competition. And what that looks like for us, hundreds of local chapters led by our extraordinary volunteer co-leaders and chairs. Some of you are tuning in the chat already. I see your names popping up. I'm a Facebook group of over 70,000 community members facilitated by an incredible team of online moderators and educational resources released almost daily, including blog posts, webinars like these, templates, monthly downloadable guides, and more completely free for our community. Rising Tide believes an empowered creative economy will change the world. And by elevating the voices of independent small business owners, sharing their stories, and building a thriving community, we can support you in the pursuit of a sustainable livelihood. And last year, when coronavirus shut down our in-person gatherings, we decided to take our monthly meetups online. And with an overwhelmingly positive response, we've continued to do it now for almost 2 years, providing an accessible educational event every month. And we're so excited for today's topic. It is probably the most requested one we get every year, and we're talking about systems and automation. So get your notes app handy or pen and paper, because you're definitely going to want to take notes today. And without further delay, I want to introduce our very special guest speaker and let her take it away from there. But for those of you who don't know Geomyra, I am really excited to introduce you to Geomyra Pollard. She is a well-rounded life and business coach for creatives that aspire to create and live with grace, passion, and purpose. Through her coaching firm, courses, and podcasts, Living Well-Rounded, Geomyra finds joy as the strategic support and encouragement for entrepreneurs seeking a thriving business and a well-rounded life. And in 2019, she was recognized as one of HoneyBook's 20 on the Rise business coaches. You might remember our 20 on the Rise project. And as a former wedding planner and designer, she uses her 15 years of experience and formal education to coach clients so they may focus on what matters most. She is a systems and workflows guru, which is why she is here today. She's a lover of handbags, and she cannot live without dessert. Me too. Geomyra is married to her high school sweetheart and is a proud mama of her favorite daughter, Peyton, and her favorite son, Jackson. Oh my goodness, welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let you take it from here as the expert. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for making me feel at home and easing my nerves. But I am super excited to chat with you guys about a topic that I love so very much. I'm honored to talk about systems, workflows, automations, and all the things, because we all know how important it is when we are trying to grow our business and do all the things as creatives and entrepreneurs. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we're just go through some slides. I always tell people I'm an open book. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, but we can also connect offline over on Instagram, email, whatever it is. I would love to connect with you guys if you have any questions that I may be able to answer. So I'm going to share the screen here. We'll do this one. And all right. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see we're good to go? Awesome. All right, guys. So I have been a member of Rising Tide HoneyBook family for a while. And so the educational resources that you guys put out is amazing. And I feel like this topic is right in line with all things HoneyBook and Rising Tide. So if you guys are ready to level up and get some systems and automations in your business, give me a hello, hi, thumbs up, something in the chat so that I know you are ready to rock and roll. All right. So before we dive into our session, just a little bit of information about me. I am Geomyra Pollard. I tell people that my name is made from both my parents, George and Myra, and that is how you get Geomyra. So make it easy for you there. I'm a mom, wife, former wedding and event designer. I am now a coach for creative entrepreneurs, professionals, working parents, and people that just want to have a life that feels well-rounded and not a life that feels like you are just doing way too many things. I host a podcast called the Living Well-Rounded Podcast, and it also has tools, resources, and things there. So definitely go check that out. I love all things systems because I know the importance of having systems in your life, in your home and business. And so this topic is right on time as we begin to get into a new year. My job is to help you make more money by doing less work. And that is exactly what systems offers us. And I'm based in the DC metro area, the DMV, as we call it here, and I'm in Northern Virginia. So hello to all my DMV family and friends out there that are tuning in. All right. And on Instagram, I am living well at I am living well rounded. We just changed from at Coach for Creatives because you might have seen me there as well. So let's jump into it. Okay, so today we will be discussing systems and automations, and we're going to define what that means because a lot of people are like, I'm not sure what that means. What exactly systems? It sounds scary, but very simple. We're going to actually get some terminology going there. And then we are going to talk about the things that can be systematized, automated, and how we can get all of that working in our businesses as well. We're going to talk about when we need to implement systems and what that looks like for our businesses. And then we also, in the beginning, we're going to talk about the why behind it. Like, why is this important? Why is this relevant to my business? And you are in the right place if you have those questions. And we're going to round out our time together and learn how to implement systems and activate those automations and all the things. And I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm going to leave you with next steps for impact because it is time to do the work. All right. Sounds good. Let's get into it. Oh, and one thing before I forget, if you look at this link, it's case sensitive. It'll take you to the template that I'm going to go over later in our chat. And also it has a handy worksheet so you can follow along and it'll take you there. If you have any trouble with it, just hit me up and I'll make sure I'll send it to you directly. All right. So let's go over some terminology. So I am sure you have heard the word systems thrown around in the entrepreneurial space or anywhere for that matter, but let's just define it and how it will pertain to what we're chatting about. So systems, they make up an overall structure. And so when you think about how your business runs, it runs via a system. Systems are automatic in the sense that they outline a process or a routine, they solve an issue, or they can also help create an amazing experience. So keep that in mind as well when you're thinking about your clients, all about experience as well. Systems move business owners from being reactive to being proactive. And they also help us use our time in the best way possible, which is something I am all about. And it is also one of the things that you think about, you know, when you start your business, you are praying for that moment where you have your big break, that big boom or whatever, but you have to be ready for all of that. You have to make sure your ducks are in a row and that you can actually take care of those clients once you do get them, and systems allow you to do that. So basically, systems help you make more money, do less work, and it makes room for you to do more of what you love in your business, the reason why you started this thing in the beginning. And so some people are like, well, how is that possible? And we'll actually get into that in a little bit. So hang tight there. So we talked about systems, we defined it. So let's talk about automations and how the two go hand in hand. So if you go online and you research the term automations, automate or whatever, automation is defined by Merriam-Webster as the technique of making an apparatus, a process, or a system operate automatically. And it also means the state of being operated automatically. And Geomyra's definition of automation is the opportunity to have your business make more money without you, the boss, the head guy, the head girl, in charge, and you having to be there physically 24/7. And that just sounds glorious, that you don't have to be working in your business 24/7. I love it. All right, so let's chat about the why behind why we need systems. Like, why is this important? Why is this relevant? And so I'm sure one of my friends out there, someone listening, you may be thinking that, you know what, my business is not big enough. My business is not there. I'm still new to the game, so I can deal with that later. And then there may be some of you listening, you're like, you know what, I'm in too deep. It's been years and years. I don't think I need to go back and do it. But the reality of it is that is not true. It is never too late to actually hit pause, do the work, and get your system in order. So keep that in mind as well, because every business owner, no matter how big or how mature, may benefit from having a solid system in place. Everybody needs a system, no matter if you're a solopreneur or if you are a Fortune 500 company. We all need to make sure our stuff is just running very smoothly. And so when I work with my coaching clients and we are trying to get those systems in place, we follow a model that I call the Prq model, which I have spoken about through the HoneyBook family in the past. And so my theory there is that having a system in place and you have your automations rolling, you are able to increase your productivity. You are able to have your revenue going up, and you are afforded the opportunity for better quality of life. So productivity, revenue, quality, that is PRQ. So keep that in mind as we are moving along, that is what you are striving for if you want to be successful in your business. And so by having a system in place, you are guaranteed to increase your productivity. And this is because you're no longer reinventing the wheel. Each time you receive an inquiry, each time you book a client or offboard someone, you're not doing the same things over and over again physically. Yes, you have to do those things, but it doesn't mean you have to be the one to do that as well. And so on top of that, there are tasks that I call time sucks. You'll hear me use that term every now and again. And so time sucks are what I believe they don't allow us to make the best use of our time. They suck our time away from us, sometimes suck the life out of us. And as the creative director and content creator of your businesses, you cannot afford to have these time sucks just surrounding you when you are trying to up level and do all of the things. So by having a system in place and our automations working for us behind the scenes, we are able to assign responsibility to other team members or use amazing software like HoneyBook to get the job done. Better, faster, more efficient without having to be involved all the time. And so another reason behind the why is that the systems and automations, they both work together hand in hand, and they make space for us to do more of what we love and to just up level the client experience. And I just want you to think about the term, you don't want to be working, in your business 24/7. No, you want to be working on your business. You are the visionary, you are the lead, you are the person that is supposed to be moving the needle forward. But if you are a worker bee 24/7 in your business, how are you going to create new ideas? How are you going to, just continue to pump out the best and the best and be innovative? And so systems allow us to do that as well. This allows you also to focus on, getting those new clients, being the person that is getting new business for your company. And that is why you just got to make sure you're not the person just being there 24/7 in the trenches. That is the ultimate goal, to just step away and allow someone else to do it or allow a system to do it for you. And so something that I want you to consider here is that when you get a new inquiry, you get that alert, you have all those things, you execute a wedding, an event, or a project, that it is the opportunity for you to show off. It is the opportunity for you to show the world that you have your stuff together. And so when you have a system in place, it lets people know that you are professional, that you know what you're doing, and it gives them more confidence to actually pay you to do the job, because it just feels like you know what you're doing. And so when you have your system going and certain components automated and fine-tuned, it means that you don't miss a beat when you're going out of your way to surprise and delight these clients in the best way possible. And as I mentioned earlier, if we take time to implement these systems, these workflows, these processes, we are able to not only save money, but to actually make more money because we're making the better use of our time. And so I want you to consider, if you are the content creator for your business, you're the social media manager, the blogger, and so forth, systems will grant you more time to create fresh content and elevate your brand to draw in those ideal clients. And you will not have to keep writing those same emails over and over and over again. And you don't have to keep drafting those same proposals, invoices, contracts, because you'll have software or even someone else working for you in the back end so that everything can just be automated. And the reality of it is, who doesn't want to make more money? Who doesn't want to be more productive? Who doesn't want more time for their family? I know I do. And I know a lot of people, especially if you really have been in your business, you are looking to just do more of the good stuff, which a lot of us got a taste of that during the pandemic. When we're not working, we're like, man, I miss my weekends. Man, I miss my family. Man, I miss Netflix and chilling. So it's so important to just continue that momentum as we move into a new year. How can you still do more of the good things, but also continue to increase your revenue in the process, right? And so I always say as well that systems and automations, they're like cousins. They go hand in hand. It's like once you get your system in order, then you can then move on to figuring out the things that can be automated. So systems will continue to evolve, and then you will just continue to refresh the things that can be automated and offloaded as well. All right. Let's see. Now let's talk about the when to implement system. So if you have a family, and that's my family there, it is so important to have the mindset that you have, your business, but your business should just revolve around your family. The thing is, you want to make sure that anything that you do in your business, it benefits your family. And if some people, they may not have children yet in this season, they may not be married, but you also have to make sure you are taking care of yourself and managing your time and your productivity. And so if you're in a season where you're like, you know what, I want to grow my family. You know what, I've been working too hard. I need to bring on someone on my team. And the girl in the bottom right with me, she's on my team as well. It became a time where I'm like, you know what, I need to grow. I need to offload some things. And that is when I knew that I needed to implement systems, when things were changing in my family and around me as well. So I want you to think about when in the season that you are in, do you feel like you need to implement systems? Do things feel heavy? Does it feel like you're just doing way too much? So consider that, as well. The when, like now is the time. All right. So let's consider that as well. Something that I want you to consider as when we move on this journey is, what do you want your team to look like in the new year? Are there things that you want to offload? Are there responsibilities you want to offload? So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the next steps as well. The key here is figuring out where you can make these adjustments in your home and business environment in order to make more money, to feed these people that you claim you love so very much, to have much more time to do all the things, and to just live the life that you dreamed of and what you feel like you deserve. So, you get to a point where you feel like, I have arrived and I want to grow and I want to do all the things. And so that is when we're like, all right, it's time to rock and roll. It's time to boss up and do all the things. So we are going to identify what can actually be systematized, what can be automated before we discuss the how. So what can be systematized? I am pretty sure the majority of us here, we are on social media. We are on Instagram, Pinterest. Some of us are killing it over on TikTok. I have not joined that bandwagon yet. But the reality is, we are using social media to grow our businesses. We are using social media to market, to get exposure and all the things. But the reality of it is, social media, some of us, time sucks. It will be one of those things where we're spending way too much time scrolling, giving everybody else the attention, supporting their business, giving them more likes and all the things, but we're not taking the time to grow our own social media. And the trick there is, you can post and you can plan and you can do all the things automatically once you put a system in place. And that is, there's so many different software options for that, so that you can say, okay, on Mondays for 2 hours, I'm going to plan my content. I'm going to upload it to the software. And then from there, it is going to automatically post for me. So what happens is, you're not opening up the app every single day, trying to figure out the captions, trying to figure out the picture. When you carve out time to actually get all your content going, you only have to deal with it maybe once or twice a week, or even once or twice a month, like some people do. When I know I have vacation or the holidays coming, I want to be relevant still on social media. I don't want people to forget about me. but that means that I have to actually put a system in place on how my company's social media will be run when I know I cannot physically be present. So keep that in mind. Like, what does your content need to look like? Can you carve out time to actually just work it all out so that it can just be done for you, automated, have a system in place, and you don't have to touch it as well. So you can still stay present, but you don't have to physically be the one every day opening up the app and doing all the things. Something else I want you to think of is your client. So think about your client onboarding, offboarding, and all of those things. And when I think about client onboarding and the client experience, I think about automations. And that is just something because you have, again, software like HoneyBook or your favorite CRM, you don't have to keep opening up the email and opening up certain websites that do contracts each time you have a client. You can actually have your templates working for you. You can have your canned responses working for you so that it is one and done. Of course, you'll have to tweak some things here and there, but the great thing is once you get it going, you just have to go back in there, make some adjustments every now and again, but you know you don't miss a step, you do not miss a beat because it is already going to be something that is saved. Back in the day, before we had, HoneyBook, Instagram, Pinterest, and whatever, I had to write every single email, copy and paste, and pray that I got the client's name correctly in the contract and in that email. But now you have software working for you that will automatically plug and play. And the problem sometimes is we don't take advantage of it. I know, even still, I have to remind myself, hey, use the tools and resources around you. Use the things that are available so you can work smarter and not harder. That is a game changer when you actually take time to learn the programs, take time to hire someone else. HoneyBook has a great community of people who are just rock stars at setting up HoneyBook in different different softwares that will work. There are Facebook groups and all the things. Do not be shy. Do not be scared, because I'm telling you, if you're shy and you're scared, there's someone that isn't. And those people are moving and progressing past you because they're ready to level up and do the work. So whatever software works for you, definitely get on it, learn it, or pay someone to learn it so that they can just get those contracts out, those proposals out, and get that money coming in. That is the goal. All right, something else to consider. As I mentioned, I used to be a wedding and event planner back in the day. I did that job for about 12 years as a wedding and event planner. And there was a season where I ended up having my mother, she passed away from cancer. So what ended up happening in that busiest season, I lied to you not, was the busiest season that I had to date. And I had a whole team and we had all of these weddings and all the things. And the blessing is we knew what needed to happen from beginning to end. So I was able to remove myself physically to take care of my family, take care of my mom, and also take care of myself in that season. And I didn't miss a beat. My clients were still happy. They still had someone knowing what needed to happen. And if you're a person that does events, the day of execution is crucial. You cannot do it over. It's one and done. And so the key here is what happens from the beginning to the end. What are the steps from planning to execution? What are the steps from the time you get on site until the time that it is all over? It's so important for everybody on the team to know all the steps because you want to make sure everyone has the same experience. Everybody needs to have the same experience, especially if you are getting referred from someone. You want to make sure that the experience of the new client just even outdoes the client previously, because we're always up leveling. If you're a person like me who has a podcast, I do not do podcasts every single week. I batch record. I have a system in place. I have a system in place on how we email people, how we produce the show, edit the show. There's a checklist of all the things because I want to make sure that everything looks consistent and it all flows in all the things. Like you just don't want to miss any steps is the goal here. All right, so you may be sitting here thinking, all right, G, this all sounds good. That was a lot. You're like, okay, I get it. There's a lot of things I can put a system and automations in place for, but how am I going to do all these things? And that is where we are going to dive into some of the good stuff on how to get it all done, because we have the what, we have the why, we have the when. So now let's focus on the how. And if you are still hanging with me in the chat. Let me know, say, I'm ready to learn, all about the how, because we're going to dive into what I call the 5-step framework to jumpstarting systems in your biz. Okay, so I use the term jumpstart because there's always going to be a lot of things done. It's not a one and done type of thing. What I've learned over the last 15 years of being an entrepreneur is that you're always going to be fine tuning. You're always going to be perfecting. You're always going to be looking to do better and to be better. And the other side of it is there's always software that is evolving and new things that are being introduced. And so keep in mind that this is not a one and done. So we're jump starting with the mindset that this now becomes a part of our business operations. Okay. And so step one in our how is we need to surrender and accept. And I always say that's like one of the hardest things to realize, like, all right, I got either a problem here, this is not working, my stuff is all over the place, or you're like, I just don't have time or I don't need it. And so the real thing that the thing that we have to realize is that we all need systems. There's no getting around it at all. So surrender and accept that we actually need to get the work done. And I think we have all agreed because you showed up here and you are hanging out with me today. And so going back to that link that I dropped in the beginning of our chat, it has a spreadsheet where you can actually start to take notes on some of the things that I've already discussed and some of the other tasks that I'm going to give you moving forward. And so when you take out that piece of paper, the template, then I want you to make a list of the why behind why you need these systems. And then during that time, we can, again, surrender, accept, and really dive deep into the why. We're also going to, on that spreadsheet or worksheet, we're going to talk about what your time sucks are and all the things. And once you realize what your time sucks are, you're really going to want to surrender, accept, and say, I'm tired of this. This isn't good. I'm not liking it. Step two is all about being intentional with your time. Being intentional with your time is so hard, and that is where the productivity portion comes in. But what I want you to do is I want you to block off time. I want you to block off time to clear the clutter, the noise, and work specifically on systems and nothing else. Treat it like an important business meeting. I tell my clients all the time, have the mindset of a Fortune 500 company, even if it's just you. And if you had a boss to tell you that, hey, I have a meeting I need you to be at, and it's from 12 to 2, you're going to show up, right? You're going to show up because it's important to you, the company, and growth overall. So give your own small business that same respect and block off time, uninterrupted, not working on emails, contracts, proposals, but specifically on systems, workflows, and getting your stuff in order. So on that worksheet I give you, your homework is to look at your calendar and to figure out when you're actually going to implement some of the things that we are talking about today. Nothing else, no social media, no emails, all the things. When are we going to make this happen so we can set ourselves up for success? Next here, I like to say step 3 is all about breaking it all the way down. So from A to Z, this is where we really get in the trenches and we write down each step from A to Z, from 1 to 100, whatever it is, so that you know what your process looks like from, like I said, inquiry to offboarding. And the thing is with me, I always, if you're in the wedding and event space, not just from inquiry to wedding day, I'm talking like 1 year anniversary. Because again, we want to delight these clients and want to make sure that we're always on their radar so that they are referring us to new brides, grooms, whatever it is. So keep in mind that 1 through 100, 1 to 50, whatever it is, it's going to look different for each business, but it's important to make sure you write down every step. No step is too small, nothing's too big. Write it down. What does that look like for your company? And that is important when you are really thinking about growing your business and where you can actually have someone else step in so that you can step away. People are ready to hire and they're like, all right, I know I need help, but where do I need help? When you write out all the steps, you can have a clear roadmap of what that looks like. You can have a map of saying, you know what, well, I send out contracts here, emails here, whatever. Hey, this is a great job for my virtual assistant or my associate or someone that is in my shop working with me. I don't have to do it anymore. they can do it. So when you write out your system all the way down, you write every single little step, it will allow you to then allow that person to jump in, to step up, and to be there to have your back. Because we sometimes hire people, but we do not use them to the best capacity. And that is super important. But the other thing there is to consider that you can always go back and fine tune it. It does not, and it's not going to be perfect right out the gate. All right. So here is a spreadsheet that I want to go through with you guys in detail. So this is a snapshot of what a system looked like when it was actually written out or typed out in Google Sheets. And that's what I use to actually write everything down before I actually plugged and automated into our CRM, which at the time when I did weddings and events, I did use HoneyBook. So I got to see what everything looked like, and then where I could actually take some of these tasks and not physically do them, but have the software work for me, and I didn't have to be involved. So here's a snapshot of the spreadsheet, and this is something that can easily be drafted in Google Sheets, Excel. I'm old school, so I like to get pen to paper to actually write everything down. And on that link that I provided earlier, it'll take you to this template so that you can actually use it as well. If you are feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing, well, early holiday gift for you here is this template, and you can use it to jumpstart and to get started. So I'm going to explain what this spreadsheet is because it looks a little confusing, but it really is not that hard to follow. So you'll notice on to the left that I would always write down what needed to happen from inquiry again to offboarding. That is what you will see under the process. POC stood for point of contact, and GLWE, that was abbreviation for my company back in the day. GLP are my initials, PC, potential client. And so I had a little legend at the top left. And you'll notice at this point in my career, it was a lot more GLWE and a lot less GLP, because I allowed for my team to step up and me to step back so that I can do other things that were important to our growth. The notes column would tell us where people, the team could find helpful links, where they could just get some more ideas or feedback. Again, you have to have the mindset that God forbid something happened to you, especially in a global pandemic, that your business will still run and people will still be happy with you and everything will be okay at the end of the day, because someone can pick up where you left off. To the right, you'll see a document name, and that is where if there was a document attached to it, a contract, a template, whatever, someone on the team, they could go in our Google Drive or Dropbox and they can locate what needed to be attached to an email, what that looked like, so that everything was just here. And it was almost like a little cheat sheet. So another thing is when you are hiring a new person to join your team, you can go over what this looks like. You can show them where everything is. But if they're looking at, step number 1 or 2, they can know exactly what the document name is, so they can attach the correct files as well. The great thing here is, again, you can color coordinate it for whatever colors you need. The colors, again, in the legend will tell you that certain things, for example, like the reddish color had a canned email response and it had a document attached to it. So do not send that email without the attachment, basically was what the red stood for, so that you know that there were some action items behind it. And so that's why I like the whole color coordination thing. This particular system that I wrote out is legit like 78 tasks. This is just a snapshot of it. But I know now if I go back to it, I can fine tune, tweak some things, consolidate, and have some software working for me in the background. Again, I'm ancient. I did this back in the day. There are some other tools that we need to take advantage of as well. All right, so step 4 is all about feedback and collaboration. So important. You're going to do your system, you're going to write it out, you're going to think this looks great, but you want to run it past people on your team, a coach, a mentor, or someone that can say, well, have you considered this? Or you know what, that doesn't seem like that it's that important. So you want to make sure that you are getting some feedback and collaboration, because other people can see what your eyes don't see sometimes. And so you want to make sure that if you do have a team, they're giving their contributions, they're letting you know what works or things that may feel stale or outdated. But you don't have to be the only one working on this thing. Bring in some help, bring in another set of eyes, get the feedback that you need. And if you're a person that goes to conferences, or if you're on webinars like this one, you can also just learn what other people are doing and then start to adapt some of those things into your particular business. The goal is to also be always learning, always just educating yourself, always up leveling, and just always be 2 steps ahead. So consume that education, that content, and now apply it to your business. So feedback and collaboration is so important. Number 5 is all about plugging and automating things. And so 5 is our last step in this framework. So you got everything written out. That is amazing. Congratulations there. And now is where you're going to pick your favorite CRM tool and you are going to plug and automate. So when you look at your system, one of the things I want you to do is to figure out, is the software that I'm using, does it allow me to not have to physically do it? Does it have a scheduling component? Does it have invoicing? Does it have contracts? Does it have proposals? Great, fantastic. So now I don't have to use it on my own, nor do I have to pay for like 10 different things. So use a tool that works for you, your business, and your business type. And the great thing is a lot of the software allows for free trials, so you can take advantage of it, see if you like it, see if it works. And if not, it's okay to try something else. But plug in everything that we talked about in your spreadsheet and figure out what you can automate so that you're not physically present doing the same jobs over and over and over and again. You're going to be blown away when you actually do the math and calculate how much time you're saving when you hand over the reins to software or other people that can work for you and in your place. So just imagine like you get an inquiry, yay, congratulations, someone's interested, and then that person wants to set a time to talk with you. Then from there, they're like, that sounds great. They want to get a proposal. Oh, this proposal looks good, contract, whatever. You know, the beauty of it all is that you don't physically have to be there to manage all those things. You just have to show up when you get a reminder that someone scheduled an appointment with you. You just have to show up when there is a meeting, but they can pay you automatically. They can agree to the terms of that contract automatically. And then this is literally the epitome of making money while you sleep because you have things working for you on the back end. All right, so let's recap here. So to recap our 5 steps, we're going to surrender and accept. Yay, I need to get these systems. This sounds great. I need more time. Second thing is I am going to set some time to get it done. No excuses. I'm going to make this happen because my business deserves it. My family deserves it. I deserve it. Number 3 is all about breaking it down step by step, just getting really honed in on all the details. If you are out and about and you're like, this sounds great. Oh, that's a great idea. Open up the notes tab app in your phone. Make a note to say, I need to add that to my system. I think that is great. Maybe another surprise gift card to my client or just a love note to them is important or whatnot. So make a note in your phone. And then when you get back to your computer, type it in, add another line item. 4 is all about feedback and collaboration. You want to make sure you're using the people around you as your sounding board, an accountability partner, whatever it is. 5, we're going to activate and we're going to get to work. We are going to remove ourselves and let the tools and resources and people around us do the work so that you can focus on moving that needle forward within the business. All right. Number 7 here, 17 on our slide here is all about leveling up and our next steps for impact. And so you have the basics, you know, like I said, the why, the when, the hows, the this and that. You know that there's software for you. You know there's tools. You know there are people that actually are professionals at setting things up and people who do this. And so we have no excuses on why we're not going to get it done. And so your next steps for impact are to check in with your team and your family. Your team, you can say, hey team, do you feel like we need some more help around here? Do you feel like we're being more efficient? Do you feel like there are ways as we move into a new year that we can just delight our clients on a whole nother level? So check in with everybody, get them on board, let them know that you are really looking to change some things as well. Family members, you're going to let them know, like, you know, I could really use some help here, maybe around, you know, things in my business. Let me know what you're seeing from your eyes and let me know how we can up level and do all the things, because you will be surprised at the things your family sees and how they interact with small businesses, and maybe they can also bring that back to you as well and you can implement in yours. use those resources. I cannot express that enough. I'm telling you, it is something that I wish that I would have done earlier and adapted to, because using resources has definitely been a game changer in my business. And as I mentioned earlier as well, being consistent is key. You want quality of work all the time. You don't want your stuff to be sloppy, like, oh man, I forgot to send them that onboarding email. Darn, I forgot to send them that welcome gift, especially if you are a referral-based business, or if you want to be a referral-based business. You have to make sure that if you dealt with one client and they had an amazing experience, that that referral is also going to have just as good, if not better. So you don't want people talking, let's say you have two brides that are friends. Well, I didn't get this from her, or how come she didn't do this for me? You want to make sure it's consistent and that everything just is all the way across the board the same. Okay. And also, when you think about your content, you want your content to be consistent. If you're someone that's a blogger, you want to make sure that you're putting a system in place on when you're going to blog, when you're going to post, what time you're going to do it, so that you feel like your blog is just staying up to date, your social media is up to date, and your podcast is up to date as well. And that is all I have with our time today. If you guys want to stay connected with me, I am on Instagram. As I mentioned, I am Living Well Rounded. Geomyra.com is my website, and there are a ton of resources there as well. Some of my favorite tools and things that I use in my home and my business on a daily basis. We're on Facebook. And again, our podcast is the Living Well Rounded podcast, and it is basically anywhere that you can think of. We are there as well. And again, yeah, resources are there for you, and also a link to my course for business owners that are looking to get some help with systems, automations, and all the things. And if you have any questions, it is now time to do that, and I will turn it over to you, friend.
Oh my goodness, that was incredible. I think maybe everyone is in a little bit of awe right now, taking some notes. That's what I'm seeing in the chat as well. If you have questions, we do have a little bit of time, so feel free to drop some in the chat, and we have a few minutes that we can go over questions. This is going to change my life. Okay, so I think that's a pretty great mic drop moment there. The link to your course again, could you tell us what it is? I'll type it in the chat.
Systems for your creative biz.com or systemsforyourbiz.com. The course is Systems for Your Creative Biz, but the website is systemsforyourbiz.com.
Awesome. Dennis, yes, this is recorded, so we will be sending out a replay later this afternoon, so you can go back because this was jam-packed with so much actionable content. I'm sure we will all be revisiting it as we fill out our spreadsheets.
Yes, please do. And like I said, if you guys, if the links don't work for you, if you have any questions, you get hung up on anything, or if someone just feels like they know they need one-on-one help, I love coaching people one-on-one as well. So reach out so we can get you set up, because I'm excited about a new year. And I just want, anybody listening to go into a new year feeling like they got it all together, they're ready to make more money, and they're ready to do more of the things that they love in their business, and not feel like, you're just clunking away, doing the tasks that they just don't like. So let's change that.
Amazing. Could we go back real quick to the screen, to the slide that had all of your contact information on it, in case anyone wants to take a screenshot?
Hold up. Let me go back.
If it lets you.
Here you go.
All right. Yeah, this is your moment. Take a screenshot if you want to grab all of the connection points and the resource links here. We did share them in the chat, but just in case a screenshot is a little bit easier for everyone, we'd love for you all to stay connected. And if you, again, last call, if you have questions while we're live, we'd love to answer them. But you can also reach out to Geomyra at hello@coachingforcreatives.co or Instagram. I'm sure she would appreciate a DM or a shout out there if you have questions as you as you fill out your spreadsheets and get to work scheduling out that time to work on your systems. I know I'm guilty of that. I need to work on my systems for next year too.
We all do. And yes, if you are on Instagram, let me know that you tuned in. If you caught the replay or live, let me know as well. And also say, if you just go to geomyra.com, it'll take you to whatever you need. That is one of the beauties of having a unique name, is that geomyra.com will take you to all of the things.
All right, I'm going to drop that link in the chat just so that way it's easier too. But thank you so much. I don't know that I have the right words to say as the level of gratitude I think everyone has from tuning in live and hopefully watching the replay to set us up for success for 2022. So thank you so much for inspiring us, for lighting a fire under our butts to start working on these systems. We will get this replay out to everyone here this afternoon. So thank you so much. And we will see you next month, hopefully, for our December Global Tuesdays Together.
Thank you guys for having me. It was an honor to share some time and space with this community, and I look forward to staying connected with you all.
Thank you.